Well, welcome to Catching Up with Dave 2021. Magiscadium in vita cum periculu. So first of all, you can check with my latest recordings, videos, YouTube. On my YouTube channel, just look for David Coons. There's a bunch of us, but you'll find me. I have some current stuff there. In fact, this is where this recording will be located. So I've been getting my golf game back in shape. You might recognize the character on the left, and even more astute eyes will recognize the golf course on the left. That is, of course, the famous Anaconda Country Club. And you can tell by, if you look at the flag pin, just to the right of that, there's the Smelter Tower. And on the right is my DEQ team. I play on the annual tournament. We had a blast last time. And the lady to my immediate left there, this is Audrey, my former manager. And that gentleman is David, another one of my managers. And the lady in the middle is David's friend. So we had a blast. And of course, one of the nice technologies is this online poker site where my poker club is over 20 some years old now. And me and this guy named Frank started it way back in late 1990s, and we'd meet monthly. And the host would have to have a dinner for everybody, but because of the COVID, we've been meeting the last 2 years like this online, and it's a blast because John, you might remember from the family reunion we had at his beach house. Well, he's now in Missoula. Mark's in Santa Cruz. Mike's in near Phoenix, Arizona. Greg's in Portland. I'm in Vancouver, and Frank's in Port Townsend. So we've all gone our merry ways, but are able to meet monthly. What about my love life? Oh, what about it? Decided that I'm not going to get romantically involved with my lady friends. I have 3 women I'm now having a nice relationship with, Sharon, Jackie, and Lisa. And they do not relate to these magic things you see on the screen, but having a wonderful relationship with them, and who knows, maybe one of them will work out this time. But what keeps me busy is my struggle to follow my path and keep pushing that rock up the hill. And I'm very fortunate to be adjunct professor at both Portland State and University of Portland. And you can see the 2 classes I'm teaching at Portland State in the fall was natural resource policy management, and it's 400, 500 levels. So I'm teaching seniors and graduates. And then this is a 300 level class called Energy and Society. And then at UP, I teach a 100 level introduction to environmental science. And believe it or not, it's these emotionally growing 200, 300 level students that are the most work right now. You have to deal with their emotions as they grow up to be better human beings. My home office, and I just recently completely resigned from the Department of Environmental Quality as of December 17th. So that's 30 years of work with them. That's I'm no longer doing from my home. So that's really been a blessing for me. Just a current recommendation, some of the books I've read recently. If you have the time, you should find these interesting. But what I really like to do is spend my time on Western history. And so these are the recent books I've acquired and read. They're all first editions. That's one of my passions is trying to find those. But it gives a nice reality look at the Western history, especially in Montana. And I like to collect other things, but mostly around native populations. So I have a large photograph of this Celilo Falls, but a little closer to home, I've been collecting some items that were related directly to Butte, and you can see from this Intermountain supplement to the newspaper back in 1902. You see the Mar Guards of Butte, and there's a guy named McGrath there. But if you get a chance, you can read The Immortal Irishman, it's a wonderful book by Timothy Egan about Thomas Marr, who's this guy here was the first territorial governor of Montana, and quite a story there. And you also look here, it says nationally known part of Butte for over 70 years. That little bit of a conflict if you see this next thing I acquired, 1952, known nationally for half a century. Well, if it was 1890, this would be at least 60 years or so. But anyway, I bought this calendar in Butte. It's an M&M calendar from my year of birth. It's never been used. It's actually in a frame, but I'm going to take it out and take it to Butte during the reunion that we're going to have. We didn't have our 50th year reunion, so we're going to have a class of 70 at age 70 reunion in June of 2022. So I'll be in Montana then. And I'm hoping to get folks that were born in this year, that were born in Butte, to sign the back of this, and then I would have a real true Butte memento. Of course, this is a Charlie Russell print. But I even like more of the Native American artifacts, prints, artwork. And I was really fortunate to run into this thing called ledger art. And it's a wonderful work here that I found by an artist here called Terence Gardipe. And he's takes these ledgers, and I found these are prints that I found online, but County of Silver Bow, an assessment book, and Terence is a Blackfoot Indian from Browning, and I'm going to share just a little bit of his background before I show you the artwork that I purchased.
It was around 1850, the middle 1800s, when the buffalo started being wiped out. So when the buffalo became scarce, instead of letting our form of pictograph writing, record keeping die out, we transferred it to paper, and individual warriors would go into combat. If they lived, they would come home and they would draw what they did in combat. Well, with Swift Dog, he was a North Dakota tribe. I think it's Standing Rock Sioux. In this instance here, it would be probably attacking his Crow enemy, capturing horses, capturing people, capturing weapons. He wants to come up close. The Crow shot 2 arrows at him and missed him, representing the Standing Rock Sioux has power, spiritual power, to deflect the arrows to go around him. Here he's going to hit the Crow with the bow and arrow, but the bow has a spearhead at the end, so he's going to take his life. Before the non-native people came, we didn't really kill each other as much in warfare. We would go and capture horses from our enemy to show them that I have spiritual power. I can sneak right into your home, take your horses and take them back to my camp, and they're mine because I counted coup on you, representing you took his honor or his spiritual power in his tribe. You absorbed it. It wasn't only about combat. I mean, even though it was a combat lifestyle and a combat form of society, that it was also loving and caring for the elderly and providing for everybody in the tribe. I'm so proud to be a part of Ledger Art and its growth and its existence into the new millennium. This particular piece is Great Northern Railroad, and up top here represents mountain designs representing the Glacier Park area where I live. Over here represents Natusi, the sun god. Down below is the train representing the iron horse, the changing of time, but this is a Blackfeet conductor. He's driving, so the Blackfeet are in control of their own destiny now. It's up to them what they're going to become. Down below is a ledger, a Blackfeet cash disbursement journal. And what it's depicting is Blackfeet members of the tribe. So then you're getting into connections to my personal family and my tribe through this document. These shipping statements represent movement of the tribe because we're migrational. Follow the buffalo, follow the herds. Then the map itself would represent ownership of land or protecting your homeland. Down below are rolling hill symbols. These are puffballs that represent stars. In a Blackfoot's Genesis, we believe we interact with people from the stars, so we put them on our ear flaps of our lodges and in our designs. And Morning Star was the main star being, gave us our sun dance healing ceremonies. So on this particular piece, I wanted to start showing the changing from living in the 1800s and wearing the straight up headdress and wearing the split horn bonnets, and you're changing, evolving with the time as it's moving forward. He has a modern hat. The floral patterns represent healing, but the stem is coming down to his head, so it represents he's the root, he's the source of the power through Creator Sun, the moon, and Morning Star. Then this is a weasel captured when it was brown. He'd have probably had a dream, a vision, try to capture the power of weasels. They're a pretty feisty little beings. So it would also be here, weasel hair, and here, because you want that warrior power, that spirit power. Again, it's going back to living in physical world and living in the spiritual world, blurred in and out. Changing of times, moving forward, but never forgetting who you are.
If you
Okay, so there's a little bit of background on Terrence and his work. And you can see the County of Silver Bow here. That's what struck my fancy. You can see this is quite elaborate. I couldn't afford one of those. But you can see he has quite an interesting cachet of these ledgers from Butte, Montana. You see a couple of them here. The one I got is actually this one. So I didn't quite think that the painting was elaborate, and there was two of them, and I was really more interested in the other one until I looked closely at this one, and I started to zero in on the ledger itself. And you can see here there's the word Butte, and then I would look down further and the treasure of city of Butte. And so I liked it. I bought it. I kind of thought, well, I wonder if he was referring to Evel Knievel here, but I kind of doubt it because I've seen this character in some of his other work. But it's one of those subconscious things about a connection to Butte. So this is now hanging on my wall. I did a little research on this ledger. And so it's a certificate of tax sale, 1897. So this Jake Murray owned this land, didn't pay his taxes. The land was valued at $320. You can see the tax amount only $3.84, but that's a lot of money. And he was fined 38 cents for not paying his taxes. So they put it up for sale, public auction, advertised in the Butte Miner for a month. The cost of advertising was 50 cents. So on February 21st, 98, this land was sold to E.L. Chapman, who paid the taxes and penalties, a total of $5.22, and was able to get this piece of land. Apparently had to wait a few years to be actually entitled to the deed. But I noticed this Abraham Yoder was the treasurer of Butte City in the late 1800s. And I did a little research on him. I haven't done much more, but he in 1902 was the president of the Imperial Paste Company, which was quite a nationally known, internationally known pasta company that was in Butte on Colorado Street. So that was kind of fun. I was able to make this connection to Butte, to Browning, to maybe Evel Knievel. And so now it's one of my fun wall hangings. So there you have it. All cut up with Dave and 2021, and hope to see you soon in the new year.